Hello, YouTube. My name's Angus Smith, and I might be the world's biggest Thrones fan, and I might be the one babe who can predict the entire show's ending. So, follow my channel if you want some really good Thrones knowledge. So, let's start with recapping last night's episode. So, we opened with a parallel to the very opening of the show, in the pilot scene, with Bran climbing to see King Robert. We had the Umber Boy climbing to see Queen Daenerys. Good parallel there. Then, I expected the Sansa scene, hostility. Winterfell is yours, obviously was said with a little bit of angst. Uh, the scene that I really liked was with Tyrion and Sansa's reunion on the balcony. There are a couple of important details that you probably missed out on. One, Bran was staring at Tyrion the whole time, so Bran knows what's going on in Tyrion's mind. And don't forget, Tyrion has said in the past that he wants to fuck Sansa. Like, he was married to her. Like, he said, like, it's wrong, but I want to do it. And he also just knows what's in his mind. So moving along. Did we go to King's Landing next? I guess so. It doesn't matter. We got introduced to Captain Harry Strickland of the Golden Company. You don't know who that is. He's a book character. The Golden Company have never broken a contract, which means they've never lost a battle under Captain Strickland. So he rode in on Silence, the name of Euron Greyjoy's ship. Two of them together, they're gonna make a pretty good team. If you're wondering why the Golden Company did not bring elephants, it's a simple answer: budget. But just saving some money. And so the scene with Euron and Cersei really interested me. I kind of liked it. I liked Cersei's move. Cersei is one of my favorite characters, actually. I don't like typical characters. That my favorite character ever is Tywin. The Hound is my favorite character alive, and second favorite character ever. I like Cersei. I like Bran. I don't like your typical characters. Just letting you know. I like Stannis. I loved Stannis. Okay, back to the episode. So Cersei played Euron, another parallel going back to season 2, the Battle of Blackwater Bay episode. She says to Sansa, "Tears aren't a woman's only weapon. The best one's between your legs." And so obviously that's what she's doing to Euron to ensure Euron's trust or loyalty. Sorry, not trust, loyalty, because Euron is very untrustworthy. He'd betray anybody. He's the ultimate bass player. I love Euron too. Euron is also one of my favorite characters, as is Harry Strickland in the books. Love both those guys. Okay, moving on. What came next? In the episode? Oh, I missed a scene. I missed the scene where Jon goes to the weirwood tree, and if you notice, the weirwood tree is dying. It's not crying. So if you've noticed throughout the show, these weirwood trees, they cry. They cry, and how I've noticed from detail is they cry when White Walkers are near, and like the closer they get, the longer the tears of blood are, and so but this dire, it wasn't crying, it was dying. And weirwood trees are immortal. They live forever. They worship them in the north. They're what's referred to as the old gods, when you hear the old gods and the new. So, and it said, "How can you see when how can they see when you have no eyes?" So weirwood trees, obviously, they're very connected with Bran. Quick note on Bran. Bran is a character that is one of my favorites and second favorite book character in the show. But show people just don't like him because his chapters are dreams and descriptions, and it's all kinds of it's just not epic. So fans have grown distasteful of him. But Bran, I really liked Bran in this episode as he just sat and watched because it set up everything. We'll get to the final shot later, but I like that he stared at Tyrion. Trying to think, did he eye anyone else down? Oh, with Samwell Tarly, he knew that Tarly had to be the one to tell Jon, which is awesome because I have always hated Samwell Tarly, and it makes no sense to why he is alive. So I've always thought he has to be alive for a purpose, and Bran kept him alive because I believe Bran is the Lord of Light. Yeah, I said it, and if it happens, you got the proof right here. I've thought it for years. He's obviously Bran the Builder, but he's the Lord of Light too. So he knew that Sam had to be the one to tell Jon because it would be the only one that he would know with absolute certainty that's the truth. He trusts no one more than Sam. So Sam finally has served his purpose in the show, but his parents being burned alive by Daenerys and him telling Jon he's the he obviously hinted in the episode that he's backing Jon for the Iron Throne, and word is gonna get out in this next time. As you can see, we're kind of wrapping up the episode and trying to predict the next episode, but I liked also there's another scene I missed on top of the wall. Davos, Varys, and I don't know. I think Jon maybe. I don't know. Davos had a great monologue during. Yeah, Jon, like how like they could both rule. He set up the ideal ending, the dream ending. We're not gonna get the dream ending. There's no way we'll get that dream ending. If we do, I'll shoot myself. That would be horrible. But I thought Davos had a good monologue, and I liked Varys' line, "Nothing lasts," because I think in the next episode, Daenerys is going to leave Winterfell in a hormonal rage, and we'll get to that later in the episode when we do predictions. So all we got left, I think, is Theon's storyline and the dragon riding and Tormund scene. Okay, so Tormund scene was real simple. It was suspenseful. It was good. I don't know what those guys are gonna do. Maybe they'll run into the White Walkers when the White Walkers destroy the last hearth in the next episode. There's your first prediction that's gonna happen. Spoiler alert. Sorry. But also, yeah, so that was kind of some filler. What else did we get? Oh, the dragon ring's important, but the most important part of the dragon ring is the stare. Rhaegal staring directly eye to eye with Jon Snow, because Rhaegal is connected to Jon Snow, and that's really, really, really important for. It's a spoiler. A prediction for the third episode, where I think Rhaegal will come and so, like I said, Daenerys is gonna leave in hormonal rage in this next episode, Episode 3, Siege of Winterfell, with no Dothraki, with no Unsullied, no dragons, just the Northmen protecting Winterfell from the White Walkers. But in season 2, episode 8, it's been mentioned, Maester Luwin says that there are secret tunnels beneath the beneath Winterfell in case of a siege for lords to escape. I've already seen this in my mind. Brienne of Tarth will die, protect as the girls run out of the tunnel, holding the tunnel, fulfilling her oath. Very symbolic death for Brienne right there. That's 2 episodes down the road, though. I'll stop predicting that one. As for next week, we're going to get a lot of tension. There's going to be a long conversation, a lot of conversations. Jamie and Bran will probably have a pretty interesting one, because Bran, I didn't get to the last shot. The last shot's so significant because, it's the parallel of how the first episode ended. There are other parallels to season 1 in this episode, and Winterfell especially. Jon and Arya's conversation, where she says that Sansa is the smartest person she knows. I agree with Arya. I used to hate her, and she has grown and grown and grown and developed amazingly as a character. And wow, she's one of the best characters in the show now. Gone from one of the worst to the best. Great character development. That's all I gotta say about that scene. That was the weirwood tree scene from earlier. I just forgot about the Arya conversation. So Arya, word's gonna get out. Arya and Sansa are gonna want Jon on that Iron Throne. They don't want Daenerys ruling over them. So that's why Daenerys will leave in a hormonal rage. It's gonna be an unfriendly conversation, especially if the Northern Lords are there. Jamie will obviously tell them that the Lannisters aren't coming in, but the Northern Lords are still not happy. So if there's a scene in the Great Hall with Daenerys, and they're all yelling at her, trust me, she's flying off on her dragon in a hormonal rage. And do you want to know why? Because she's pregnant. That's why. Daenerys is pregnant. And so she'll fly off in a hormonal rage. And that's important that she leaves for the Siege of Winterfell, because the Siege of Winterfell is going to be a great, great episode, directed by Miguel. Miguel directed Hardhome, Battle of the Bastards, and The Winds of Winter. Maybe the 3 best episodes. So I'm so excited for that episode. As I mentioned earlier, the connection between when Rhaegal stared directly into the eyes of Jon Snow, they're connected, because Rhaegal was named after Rhaegar, Jon Snow's father, right? And Jon, so after they escape through the tunnels of Winterfell, because they will be overrun by the White Walkers eventually, they're going to lose. A lot of characters are going to die. After the White Walkers have taken Winterfell, as mentioned, they can flee to Pike. They're still going to be chased by the White Walkers. That obviously that was the point of Theon's storyline, to have Pike as a safe haven. But when they're chased by the White Walkers, I believe this is an episode later how it will start. So we're going way down the road. Rhaegal is going to come to Jon's aid for to save Jon's life during the Siege of Winterfell. So thanks for watching my video. This is my first one. Please wait till next week for another and subscribe. I'm just going to keep talking like this. Thanks. And go Thrones. Go Yankees too.